3D printed these cauldrons and wanted to paint them and give them to my wife and daughters for Halloween. You can find the link to the STL file in the video description. I primed and painted them black and tried adding texture for a cast iron look using a stippling brush I recently picked up and a dry brush using Reaper Cloudy Gray. I think the dry brush did a better job. I also tried two ways to apply a black wash after the stippling. One was with Army Painter Speed Paint Grim Black mixed with some Speed Paint Medium, and Reaper Pure Black mixed with glazing medium. The glazing medium was a clear winner, but they both worked. The ratio I finally came up with was 1 drop of black and 7 drops of glazing medium. I'm using Reaper Explosion Orange to start painting the coals around the cauldron. Reaper Magma Red was next. And then I used Reaper Stormy Gray. To give the coals a realistic effect, I used Reaper Pure Black and dry brushed over the coals. Yes, that's a 3D printed texture palette insert for the Army Painter wet palette. I used this reference photo for the flames, but kind of went my own direction with the colors. The link is in the description. We all know that yellow doesn't cover well over black, so I used Vallejo Model Color Pink as the base for the flames. I used Citadel Averland Sunset to paint the bottom third of the flames. I then used Reaper Canary Yellow to highlight the Averland Sunset. I followed that by Army Painter Fanatic Flickering Flame. Now I'm applying Reaper Lava Orange. Each color covers a smaller portion of the flames. I'm going to use Reaper Dragon White to paint the very bottom of the flames to bring in more contrast. Next, I applied Reaper Magma Red. Reaper Dragon Red is used to paint the tips of the flames. Wow, there are a lot of colors in the flames. The Reaper Pure Black is applied to the very edges of the flames like an edge highlight. The last step for the flames is to apply a glaze of lava orange. This really brings it all together. I didn't do an exact ratio for this glaze, but thinned it until it was just a very light orange glaze. To paint the cracks in the cauldrons, I first painted them with Reaper Dragon White and then used Citadel Contrast Magma Droth Flame over that. The clear resin pieces were painted with a matte varnish before applying contrast paints. I mixed Citadel Cassandra Yellow with Colia Green shade. I tried using Army speed paints, but they didn't work well for the clear resin. Citadel Tesseract Glow did a great job. I also used Tesseract Glow on the runes using my airbrush and highlighted with Reaper Dragon White. Once the bubbles were dry, I applied a gloss varnish to make them transparent. Here is a close-up of the flames. Notice the tea lights flickering under the bubbles. This effect is much better in real life. I hope you enjoyed this quick video on the painting of my cauldrons. Please like and subscribe.